It's a deep challenge. Think about it. You want to ask God for something, and you want to receive it from off of Him. So don't forget me while I'm ministering here in Ukraine. If you'd like to donate to the ministry, go to the links down below in the description. We have had some problems with those being down recently because of some maintenance that we're doing on the server. So I apologize for that. We'll see if we can't make sure they're in place by tomorrow, Monday, April 8th. And if you did want to donate, then go ahead and give it a shot, or you can email me at my email address, ron.craig@therootedword.com, and ask me, is it up yet? Meanwhile, let's get on with the lesson. So today we're in 1 John 3 talking about prayer. And this is talking about some things that are required for our prayers being answered. And you may be saying, well, hold on, we don't have to do anything. Well, first off, you're probably thinking about salvation. We're talking about prayer and prayers being answered. Even if you were talking about salvation, you'd be wrong biblically. But let's go ahead and focus on prayer today. We'll get to the issue of salvation later. 1 John 3, 22 through 23, the Rooted Word, Common English Edition. And that which, in case that we may be asking, we are receiving from off of Him, while the commands from Him with a fruitful end product we are guarding with an eye to protect, and we are doing the agreeable things in the gaze of Him. And this is existing as the command from Him with a fruitful end product, in order that we may be persuaded in heart in the name of the Son of Him, Jesus Christ. And we may love one another, just as He gives a command with a fruitful end product. Now, let's look at this a minute, because this is packed with stuff when you have it correctly translated from the Greek. The relationship of the different phrases and words is immense. This idea of a command from Him with a fruitful end product, you say, that's kind of odd. I've never heard anything like that in the Bible. But it's there. Entole. So this is one word. En means into, and tole comes from the Greek word for the destination of a journey, the end product of the journey. And so this together is an injunction that gives a final positive result. So we are translating that, a command with a fruitful end product. Now, that's the key to connect all of this. And that's how it was written, was to connect all of this and show the relationship of things through that phrase. So let's have another look at this passage, and I'll draw attention to how that relates to the parts. And that which in case we may be asking, we are receiving from off of Him. We are receiving that. There are two that's there, right? We are receiving from off of Him. So it's prayer. We're asking Him something and we're receiving it off from Him. If we may be asking, this only happens while something else is happening. So we receive what we ask for while we are guarding with an eye to protect the commands from Him with a fruitful end product. Those commands from Him that have a fruitful end product, we are guarding with an eye to protect, often translated obey. That's not the meaning of the word. That may be the meaning in context, or part of the meaning, as in here. You're guarding to protect, not only to obey, but also so that future generations can and will obey. And you must keep that in mind. That's part of your duty as a Christian. And that's where we have failed in America, is that we have not passed on that sobriety about the commands from Him with a fruitful end product that they must also then take up guardianship of it in order to obey and in order to make sure it is secured for future generations to hear and obey. And it says, while we are doing the agreeable things in the gaze of Him. The agreeable things in the gaze of Him. The things He wants to take up for Himself. That's the root of the word. So those things that are agreeable to Him, that He is pleased with. So while we're doing those things, and while we are guarding with an eye to protect the commands from Him, it's plural, commands from Him, with a fruitful end product, okay? Then what we ask for is given to us. We receive it from off of Him. Verse 23, and this is existing. What this? This, the whole thing. This is existing as a command from Him. That we ask and that we receive and that we guard in order to obey and for future generations to obey, and that we are doing what is agreeable in the gaze of God. That this is existing as the command from Him with a fruitful product, fruitful end product. So not only are those commands having fruitful end products, but the overall collection of these things, these four things, is a command that has a fruitful end product. And what is the purpose of this? The purpose of this being a command, verse 22, is the command. The purpose of this being a command and having a fruitful end product is so that that fruitful end product is this. In order that says it's the end product. In order that we may be persuaded in heart in the name of the Son of Him, Jesus Christ. In the name of His Son, Jesus Christ, and we may love one another, just as He gives a command with a fruitful end product. So He then identifies again, these two things together are the fruitful end product of that command of verse 22. So there are two fruitful end products that are not separate products, they're one product. That's the end, is to believe in the name of His Son, Jesus Christ, and to love one another. That these are not separate and they cannot be separate. You cannot love one another and not be persuaded in your heart in the name of Jesus Christ, His Son. And you cannot go around saying you're persuaded in your heart in the name of His Son, Jesus Christ, and not love one another. It's one. It's not two. And it says so. Just as He gives a command with a fruitful end product. That's at the end of that verse 23. Beginning it says, and this is existing as the command from Him with a fruitful end product. Then He tells that product. Then He says, just as He gives a command with a fruitful end product. So no matter how you look at it, He pins it in. So you cannot get away with distorting it if it's correctly translated. If it's translated what it says in the Greek, you cannot get away with distorting it. So now you know. It's a deep challenge. Think about it. You want to ask God for something. And you want to receive it from off of Him. But are you guarding His commands for future generations and obeying them so that by guarding them and obeying them, you are securing the future guarding and obedience of those commands? Are you doing that? Because if you're not doing that, you're going to be struggling to try to get what you want from off of God. Not only that in combination with doing the things that are agreeable to God that He wants to lift up and take for Himself is a necessity for your prayers being answered. Your relationship to God's commandments, His commands with a fruitful end product, and their relationship with future generations and to yourself and your obedience to those, combined with you doing what's agreeable to God that He wants to lift up and take for Himself, those are required for you to receive from off of Him what you ask. The fruitful end product of that is in order that we may be persuaded in heart in the name of His Son, Jesus Christ, and we may love one another. May the Lord bless you as you seek Him with all your heart.